What's going on, everybody? This video, I gotta make another. I gotta admit again that I was wrong about something. And there was a woman that I thought she was actually a customer of mine when I was driving for Uber and Lyft. And I picked her up several times, her and her children. And I noticed she had five children. Three of the five children had autism or at least autism. Three of her five children. Uh, I asked her just because I picked her up from her house and took her to doctors' offices, stores. I picked her up and dropped her off many times. So I got comfortable with her. And we had conversations. Sometimes the drives was, they could have been a 30-minute drive wherever she might have been going. She actually did live uh, out of town. So when I would go pick her up, if I was bringing her into town, it was, and then taking her back, you're talking a 30-minute to an hour ride. So, or if I was just taking her one way, at least about a 30-minute ride. So 15 to 30 minutes. So we got to talking and got comfortable with each other. And so I asked her one time, I said, let me ask you, I know you've talked to me a lot about your children and how three of the five have autism. And I said, is autism or is that something that runs in your family or in the family of your husband? And she told me, she goes, well, actually, I've had three husbands. The five kids had three fathers. So I guess two was with one, and then, yeah, let's see. Yeah, and then the other, no, wait a minute. Yeah, two was with one. Or no, three was with one, and then the other two was with different fathers. So she had three husbands or three fathers of her five children. So I was like, is there any, or I didn't even know that until she gave me that information. All I asked was autism something that run in the family, on either her side of the family or the father's side of the family. I didn't know she had all these kids had all these different fathers. She told me that after I asked that question. And she said, "Oh well, no, no, no. Well, actually, there's three fathers involved with the five children." And I said, you didn't have no autism in your family as a child?" And she said, "No," and none of the other fathers had any of it. And I said, "Well, do you think it?" I just asked her, just flat out. I said, "Let me ask you this then, because I've always been talking about it. Man, when I was a kid, folks, we got enough vaccines to kill a horse, and it has. There is so many more today that these vaccines drive me crazy." And at one time, I heard they are now giving 80 different vaccines to a child to get them from birth through 12th grade. 80. So I, I question vaccines. And I know you all know how much I question them. But so I asked this woman straight up, do you think it had anything to do with the vaccines? And she looked at me straight in my eye, sitting right next to me in my car, and told me, no. The doctors told me it was because I took Tylenol when I was pregnant. People, this was like 4 years ago. Never heard of this in my life. And to be honest with you, I got people. I got to stop my story somewhere because these videos could go on for decades. But I've been through surgeries and I've been put on pain pills and shit. So I understand, where medications can screw you up. But when I dumped, I was hooked. People that I was taking, let's see, 3, 6, 9 Percocets. People at one time from after my heart surgeries and the other, I've got ruptured disc that I'm sure are bone on bone today. But every time they put me under a damn X-ray, they go, "Hey, do you know you got a lot of arthritis in your body?" They pretty much, you can ask my wife. She talks to my doctors more than I do. And they pretty much told her that I have arthritis every freaking where. These people were willing to give me pain pills like you would not believe. And I took them for years. Years. I still have all my own teeth. They're all mine, folks. Every one you see is my own teeth. People, this wasn't this. When I finally told these doctors, this was before this heroin epidemic happened in America. And now, what is it? You know what it is? They mix it with heroin. That epidemic. This was before all that, folks. This was before all that. And these doctors were giving these pain pills away. I don't care what you wanted. I don't care what you wanted. You can find a doctor to write you a prescription for it. Well, they got me hooked on this shit because of my surgeries, my arthritis, all this. They got me hooked on every damn thing, every legal drug you could imagine. Oh, yeah. I didn't need alcohol, even though it was legal. I didn't need weed. I didn't need none of that shit. That shit get me put in jail. I'm not stupid. Hell, I'll just go with the legal shit. And I did. I lived on that shit. Up till about, not the pain pills, folks. I gave up the pain pills. I'll tell you what, you can ask everybody that knows me. I went through 2 weeks of, she don't even know what hell is. I know what hell is. Hell's a lot worse than what I went through getting off of Percocets, getting off them pain pills. Hell's 1,000 times worse than that. That's all I needed. I put myself through 2 weeks of pure hell, sick like you would not believe. And when I was done, I went back to that doctor. It was a female doctor. She'd write me anything I wanted. Anything I wanted. And any amount. Prescription drugs. Yeah, you guys think, well, no. You guys are dealing with it on the streets today. It's the good shit. When I looked at her, after I went through all that, she was my regular doctor. She wasn't no specialist. She was my family doctor. She weighed about 400 pounds, could barely waddle her ass in to the room where she's going to come in there and tell me how to be healthy as a doctor. And she was on more pills than I was. This woman would have wrote me a prescription that would have killed me in a heartbeat. And if I wouldn't have been being protected by God all my life, she probably already did. I was just lucky. I had God stopping her crap. Well, people, this was about 5, maybe 7 years before this whole thing came to a stop. All these pain pills, all these doctors were pushing and shit. They were giving them out like candy. You want to know when it stopped? Remember the Afghanistan war? They went in there and took over the poppy fields. Well, they're going to profit from that, or this was a waste of time. So what'd they have to do? They had to cut all them people. All of us. See, I cut myself off for some reason. Like I say, I was protected by God. I cut myself off about 4 years before this shit happened. Maybe 5. Off of all the pain pills. People. Then the heroin started flooding in. The heroin started flooding in. Through the southern border. Through the military bringing them in their own fucking planes. Nobody searches those planes. They don't go through any kind of checkpoints. They just gave back control of the poppy fields. And now what do we have? The heroin is a small proportion of what's in that's killing everybody today? What's the pill? Oh, yeah. Pharmaceuticals. And they're everywhere. They're everywhere, folks. Yeah. Well, people, like I said, I got to admit, I thought this woman was out of her freaking mind thinking Tylenol did this to her. Because I used Tylenol for pain relief ever since I got off of all them painkillers. And I'm telling you what, I ate about 20 of them a day. 20 of them. But every time I turn around, I was eating 4 or 5 of them. Ibuprofen did not help me. Domes did not help. Tylenol numbed. It numbed it down. It did not really help, but it numbed it down to where I would not have to take their crap, which was, I was still taking their crap. See how stupid I was? It just wasn't. It was over the counter shit. It wasn't no. I had to see a doctor to get it. Well, today, folks, I wish I could remember where that lady lives so I could go back and give her a hug and say, I'm sorry because I thought a lot of bad thought about you. I thought you was a dumbass moron. Not that the vaccines didn't have anything to do with it, but that she thought it was only the Tylenol. Today, I got the biggest chest kick, 8-pound fucking chest kick, knocked me across the room. There's a class action lawsuit going on right now against Tylenol. For not warning pregnant women that this could happen. This is why I tell you, folks, I'm no different than you. But don't give me your opinion, show me facts, show me proof of what you're saying. This woman, she told me the doctors told her. And you know what? I believe the doctors at that time told her the truth. And I believe it is Tylenol that's done it. But that was before the whole cotton candy COVID crap happened. Today, I no longer trust the doctors. But it blows my mind that there is a class action lawsuit against Tylenol. And I'm sure they're going to pay out billions, if not gazillions. Who knows? Might even put them out of business. Who knows? I doubt it. It's part of the pharmaceutical company, so ain't nobody going to put them out. They might shut Tylenol down. But think, people, what you guys don't understand is, see, when I was a kid, the people that were in offices, that held government offices, like the FDA and the Food and the Drug Administrations and stuff, I don't know. I think they really did care at that time. I think they really did the job they were put there to do. Once those things were removed, folks, They don't even have to tell you what they're putting in the food anymore. They used to have everything on the product or they could be sued for it. Now, why would that have ever been changed? Why? People, when I was a kid, there were very few people that you would say was disabled. Very few kids, especially, well, where I grew up. Yes, we had one. I think there was one girl that was in a wheelchair. There was one guy that I know. I watched him have a seizure. Um, there was one guy that I know. He was even on the football part of the football team and stuff, the sports teams and stuff. But he went to a special education place for part of the day. Other than that, there everybody, and every kid in every neighborhood went to the same high school. Went to the same school. Today, you see what's happening. You know how many buses, different buses, and I'm not talking full, big, long school buses. I'm talking about how many different schools that come through my neighborhood to pick up the kids out of my neighborhood to go to school. Every kid, when I was a child, all of us got on the same bus. Today, we got a bus that pulls up and picks up kids. We got vans that pull in to houses, into their driveways to pick up kids, whether they're disabled or whatever. We got other buses that pull up that are religious buses. People, what's wrong with this bitch? Tylenol. Tylenol. If you took it and they told you it was okay and you was pregnant, my wife told me, they told me when I was pregnant, that's the only thing it was okay for me to take. That's what my wife told me. People, that was 38 years ago. It took them 38 years, almost 40 years, to figure out Tylenol is what's causing a lot of the autism. But guess what? They got, see these big pharmaceutical companies? They got these banking accounts that they pump big money into. They are for fighting cases in court. It's to pay big time lawyers, big time money to stretch shit out so long they hope you die before the trial is ever over. But if you don't, if you live long enough, they got money to pay you off with. But you still see Tylenol is on the shelf. Now, how many women will hear about this lawsuit? Will they put it, hush it up? Because I ain't hearing them talking about it on the news anywhere. This was in a commercial that somebody paid for to put up. They're not talking about it on the news. Hell no, they ain't. So, guys, who you guys gonna believe in anymore? How many lawsuits do the pharmaceutical companies have to be put through before you stop believing what they tell you? And what's the biggest thing killing people on the market today? It ain't some naturally grown anything. It's one of the chemicals that they produce, even in pill form. People, do you not see this shit? The biggest criminals on this earth today are the ones sitting in Washington, D.C., the Vatican, and London. And everybody that has anything to do with those three places. They control it all. Till you understand that, you're going to keep having autistic children. You're going to keep having whatever all these chemicals are doing to your children. So, it's of your own doing. You don't have to go along with this. You can just say, nope, not done it. I've done it many times, folks. I've told them no. No. Learn that word. Then stand behind it. Might save your life. Might save your soul. God loves you, folks. And so do I. Seek Jesus' path. Do what he did. Or don't. That's what free will is all about. It's up to you. Love you. Till the next one.